Good evening. We're gonna start the show pretty soon. Salute to everybody. Wait for everybody to come into the chat. You know me, I like to be early. Uh if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, well, know how that goes, right? But I hope everybody had a good 3-day weekend. We have the presidential inauguration happening tomorrow. And I'd like to welcome everybody for coming in and everything like that. This is going to be a great show. I hope so. It's going to be a lot of information being thrown out there. So I hope everybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? I know those that will. For the new people that will show up, I hope they will also. Salute to the people that showed up early. Hiatus Black, Yerb, and JustaskChar. What is going on? Supreme Elder. Right. So, greetings, esteemed Callie Jane. How are you doing? Greetings. Letting everybody to fall into the room. While everybody's falling into the room, I will place your comments that are in the chat on screen while I have this music pumping. What's going on, General? What's going on?
I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you drown me? Ain't no way I could deny you, I could try. Will you kiss me? Ain't no way. Not with you. Not with you. Come and try me now. So cool. Not with you. Come and try me now. I don't I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not defined. Will you kiss me? Will you play? Will you drown me? Ain't no way I could deny you, I could try. Will you kiss me? Ain't no way. I know that left alone, left alone, left alone, left alone,
All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the 1/3 show. It is your host, Just DeAndre. How are you, wonderful, esteemed people, doing out there in these YouTube streets. So we ain't gonna say streets. We're gonna say streets. Has been a very eventful weekend in social media, in the media, in the world, especially on our side of YouTube. But we're not going to get into that because, hey, you can subscribe to other people's channels. You can check those things out. But we're here to talk about what is going on in the rest of the world, and this is mainly centered around justice and how a week ago, people decided that they wanted to run up on the castle. Um, one of the points of government, and I call DC the castle. It's our nation's capital. It is the castle. It is where all our leaders are, that are elected officials, whether you agree or disagree, whether you agree or disagree with the process. You do not run up into the castle uninvited, and that's what happened. If you can do that, then anyone can do that. Greetings to everyone that showed up in the chat. Greetings especially to lovely JustaskChar that showed up. Call her the Quincy Jones of our space because she's always keeping us on point. Now, we're going to talk about a couple of things. There's going to be some articles. I'm going to run through this as quickly as possible because I would like to streamline this stream so I can get it down to 90 minutes at the most. We're going to try to do this very quickly, very efficiently, because I know that a lot of you got other things to do, and I appreciate you being here talking with me. We will have the last 30 minutes of, if anyone would like to add anything, I will open up the panel for the last 30 minutes of the 90-minute section if they would like to come up and speak, but you will have to be accordance. You would have to actually have access to my server to actually speak, because we are very cognizant, because everybody doesn't need a voice to speak publicly, because if a lot of those guys that decided to run up in the Capitol, if they exercised that caution, a lot of them wouldn't have got caught. But for the government to move this slowly, that tells us that Lady Justice is not blind. So we all understand that. So, but I would like to bring you with some history, because everything starts from a point, like you call it, the point of impact. Ground zero, if you would like to call it. So here we go with our first piece of information. A lot of these links will be in the description box below. I will have to update the description box, look it over, because I find things like when I wake up and do these streams, I find new information. It's always ever changing. Can't keep up. Okay, so this is Yahoo News. I usually go on Yahoo. What I found that on Yahoo, they have the most balance of news, because they have it from both sides of the aisle. Okay, they have it from Fox, CNN, they get it from multiple news sources, and they just put it on the site, and I read through it. Okay, so this is not the first time that white supremacists have overthrown the government in the United States. Okay, so Wilmington, 1898, white supremacists overthrow U.S. government. Okay, and this is the picture right here. These are all the white supremacists. Okay, this is the government that they overthrew. A violent mob whipped into a frenzy by politicians. Now, notice that how they say that, a violent mob whipped into a frenzy by politicians, tearing apart a town, overthrew the elected government. Following state elections in 1898, white supremacists moved into a U.S. port of Wilmington, North Carolina, then the largest city in the state. They destroyed black-owned businesses, murdered black residents, and forced the elected local government, a coalition of white and black politicians, to resign en masse. Does this not sound familiar? Historians have described it as only a coup in U.S. history. Its ringleader took power the same day as the insurrectionists swiftly brought in laws to strip voting and civil rights from the state's black population. They face no consequences. Wilmington's story has been thrust into the spotlight after a violent mob assaulted the U.S. Capitol on 6th January, seeking to stop the certification of November's presidential election result. More than 120 years after its insurrection, the city is still grappling with its violent past. After the end of the Civil War in 1865, which pitted the North United States against the Southern Confederacy, slavery was abolished throughout the newly reunified country. Politicians in Washington, D.C. passed a number of constitutional amendments granting freedom and rights to former slaves and sent the army to enforce the policies. But many Southerners resented these changes in decades that followed the Civil War, and there were growing efforts to reverse many of the efforts aimed at integrating the freed black population into society. And I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna make sure this link is put into the description box below. I will put this in the chat. But this is 1898. Slavery ended at 1865. Slavery ended at 1865. So this is nothing new. This is something that if you go back into your history, they've actually been successful at this. So if slavery ended in 1865 and this happened in 1898, it's 23 years later where black people and white people started rebuilding the nation. They started rebuilding the nation together. They made elected black and white politicians in mass. So they were actually trying to use the insurrection of 1898 as a launch point to do what they did in the Capitol on a bigger scale. Right? So how were they able to accomplish this? Because you have to have some type of, it has to be an inside job. You just can't do this on your own, right? They couldn't just run up there and do this, right? They had to know where everyone was at. They had to be strategic with it. They had to lull the enemy to sleep. They had to lull the enemy to sleep. Or the people to sleep. Right? So this is just in, right? In the news. This is just in on the news. And I want to make sure we get this up. Now, remember they said they were vetting. They were vetting, right? They were vetting these National Guard's members. Okay. And when they were vetting these National Guard members, it was very strange.
Extremism. Let me be clear. Extremism is not the comments about extremism. Let me the comments.
Okay, so this is one of this is the general chief of the national just the general chief of the National Guard. Okay, and they said they were vetting their members, right? They were vetting people that they would have on duty. Got 21,000 people going to the Capitol to secure it, right? And in that 21,000 people, what it says here is 12 Guard members removed from Biden's inauguration. 12 U.S. Army National Guard members have been removed from the presidential inauguration security mission after they were found to have ties with the right-wing militia groups or post-extremists. I saw this, but our Supreme Elder placed this in our server so we can be abreast on this information. Okay, with respect to the comments about extremism, let's be clear, extremism is not tolerated in any branch of the United States military. If there are reported issues, our leaders will address them immediately in accordance with the established department policies and in coordination with law enforcement. There's 10 that are identified by the FBI, and I can't speak to the level of vetting that they do, but I know they said it's standard. They do all the inaugurations for participation with the other two. They're separate from the 10 for the total of 12, one was identified by the chain of command and another was identified through anonymous reporting. Now, this is 12 out of 21,000. That's not enough, but it is a step in the right direction. But I'm former military, and I can tell you there were white supremacists all over the place. Okay, like I didn't confront racism until I was in the military, and that was people outside of the military extracting it to me because I was put in different places in the country where I would never really would go and visit, you know, and inside of the military from these people that came from certain places. So white supremacy is that, and it's not what you really think it is. It's actually quiet, it's subvert, and it's covert.
About extremism, let me be clear. Extremism is not tolerated in any branch of the United States military. If there are reported issues, our leaders will address them immediately in accordance with established department policies and in coordination with law enforcement. There's 10 that were identified by the FBI, and I can't speak to the level of vetting that they do, but I know it's they said it's a standard they do for all inaugurations for participants. With the other two, they're separate from those 10 for a total of 12. One was identified by the chain of command, and another one was identified through anonymous reporting.
So I don't want to speak for the vetting that's underway, but if our law enforcement partners flag an individual based on their determination that they see something and they pass it to us, we're not even asking what the flag was. We're just removing them. So I can't speak for that. Within the ranks, I think that it's what we've seen is inappropriate comments and texts have been it. I don't think that we have a handbook on what our thresholds for inappropriateness at this point.
Rated in any.
And I'm gonna stop it right there. And this is the thing that pisses me off. Right? We don't have a threshold for what's inappropriate. Now you just heard it out of his mouth that he can't put out. Okay, first of all, let me step back a little bit. Okay, whenever you're getting a security clearance or anything like that, it depending on the level of the security clearance in the military, especially in the military or in upper forms of government, when you're dealing with the Department of Defense, you have a branch outside of that. When you're getting in higher levels of form, at the top level, it's always the FBI that does your clearances. When you get to a certain clearance, it can be done by your local little jurisdiction. You can have a person that's trained by the FBI, depending on what base or what form or branch of defense government that you're in, the Department of the Army, Department of the Navy, Department of the Air Force, Department, you know what I'm saying? You can Homeland Security, whatever, right? So they can do it there because there's a trained person there that has a clearance that can verify you and vet you, and they have this whole thing that they have to go through. Now, the higher the level of your clearance, the more the FBI has to be involved. I remember when I got my clearances, I had to sit in multiple interviews, and the agents had to fly out, or they had to come down from DC to my command, and I had to sit through an interview process. And they went all the way back. Like they told me about stuff that I didn't know, that I had to find out about myself and about other family members and things of that nature, to the point where family members can cause you not to get a clearance if they have big debt and certain things like that. I've seen this happen multiple times. So what this means is that the FBI vetting process is top tier when it comes to security clearances and things of that nature. Okay. Now, what he's basically saying is that he doesn't understand the requirements, what will pull somebody. Now, in that instance, that's that privilege. That's that I don't see them as a threat privilege. People can say what they want on text messaging, but this is coming from the higher chain of command. They don't care if it's a peep. Right? If it looks like it, smells like it, they're gone. Now, you heard what the general said is any flag, they're gone. This guy gets up there and he pretty much kind of throws everybody underneath the bus just with that. Exactly, Neek. Exactly. So now that's just the vetting process. So they removed 12 out of 21,000. They probably got more than that. They just, and this is, let me explain this to everybody, is that, and the way we do things over here is we tell it how it is, right? You can take it, you can go jump off a bridge or something because you're scared, or you can take the information in and understand this how it works. If I'm got all these troops here and you just saw people that are police officers, doctors, lawyers, firefighters, ex-military, special trainings, special force people, you didn't see politicians, you didn't see they're permeating everywhere, right? And if I tell you that we're doing a conscious effort to purge, and I go in there to purge and I say, well, we out of 21,000 guard troops, we found these 12. You're like, oh, okay, you're doing a good job. It's not as bad as it is. That's what I'm reporting to you. I got to give you something. I can't tell you the truth. What if I was to tell you that 20 to 30% of the guardsmen that we found that we done booted out because we got to keep bringing in more troops and switching them out and keep bringing in more troops? That's why we got all of these troops to secure 21,000 troops, 21,000 troops armed to the teeth in DC. Why do you have 21,000 troops armed to the teeth in DC? They're not even 21,000 troops at Fort Meade. There's not even 21,000 troops at the Pentagon. They're not even 21,000 troops at Annapolis. You see, do you understand the rationale with this? That means that this problem is as bad as they found out how bad it really is. It was a scab, and when they pulled the scab off, it's infected to the point where they may have to amputate. Do you understand and comprehend the depth of the problem that's going on? And this is to protect the highest point of security of government. So now here's another one, right? And as we move forward with this is a news article. This is off of YouTube. So this is off of YouTube right here. And I'm going to bring this up just to let you know how much the scab is. Because if these are the people, now black people have been saying this for a long time, right? Black people have been saying this for a long time. Oh, yeah, Sneak, yeah, it's damage control. Because people, you know what I'm saying? Because people have lost faith in the government. Now, wait, Tyrone, and I hold up. Yeah, to hold up your clearance. You know what I'm saying? Tyrone can hold up your clearance. That's your money. I'm like, people don't realize, like, having a security clearance alone, just a low-level secret clearance that allow you to look at sensitive information, that's automatically a $65K to $85K job. And especially now, with all these security breaches now, you can add another 10 to 20K on top of that. Now, if you got a secret clearance, then you go up to a top secret clearance. You already in the 100, and then you go up to another clearance and another clearance. You already up there in like, you know, 300,000 a year. Those guys at the NSA make a lot of money, All right. So let's play this.
And breaking news now, Polk County deputy in big trouble tonight.
Sheriff Grady Judd just wrapped up a press conference explaining that he had to arrest one of his own for threats related to the violence in Washington, D.C. Our Polk County Bureau reporter Stacey DeSilva has that story for us.
Keith, the sheriff just finished briefing us a couple minutes ago. He called this press conference just quickly after this man was arrested. He has been booked this evening. His name is 29-year-old Peter Haneen. He is a deputy here at the Polk County Sheriff's Office. He's accused of having a disturbing conversation with a fellow deputy the night of the Capitol riots. The sheriff did read off some messages Haneen allegedly.
We look at this young gentleman here, this fine specimen of a man. But look at him. This is law enforcement. This is a deputy, in Polk County. Okay. This is a deputy in Polk County. And he was talking this before, and his own, his deputy, his own fellow, police officer or you know what I'm saying, sheriff, his own colleague had to turn him in. Now, how much other stuff did he do? But what caused him to get turned in by this guy, right? Because if he was comfortable enough to talk about these things, what else was he comfortable enough to talk about? So they always call black people the canaries in the coal mine, right? You know, and that's where you wanted to know if there was a gas leak or there was something wrong or there was some poison fumes in the coal mine. So they released these canaries, and canaries will always try to find a way out, right? But if you sent the canaries and the canaries would go and a couple of them would die, the other canaries would know and turn around and go and reverse and go in the other direction. And you would basically watch them. And when they would come back, you would count. And you would count and you would say, okay, this is not a good place to go down here up until this point, right? So what that basically means is that they've been doing this to black people. They've been burning down things. We got history. I just showed you the history. Now there comes a problem when it's affecting them because they weren't running up on black people this time. Black people only count for 1% of the Congress people in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. I want y'all to all understand that. So even if black people got together and voted on anything, they could not push it through. You need the help of your palm-colored counterparts to get things through. So they weren't running up on black folk. Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, is not black. She's a white woman. Okay. Chuck Schumer is a white man. Okay. Mike Pence, the vice president, the president of the Senate, is a white man. Right? Mitch McConnell, the Senate majority leader at the time, majority leader, is a white man. He is now the Senate minority leader, and Chuck Schumer is the majority leader. He is a white man. Do you see that? Nowhere. Matter of fact, we have lost 2 Congress people, well, 3 Congress people if you count Kamala Harris, because she is the VP, but she is now the president of the Senate. But we have lost congressional seats due to losing elections. We only won 1, and that was in Georgia, if you're talking about the representation of black people, but we are in the hole by 3 to 4. We're in the hole by 4. So let's just be real with this. They didn't run up on us. They ran up on themselves. So I'm going to continue to play this.
That night, including threats against federal agents. The sheriff said Haneen wrote the streets should run red with the blood of tyrants. The FBI is corrupt, and he wanted to kill them all. Sheriff Judd said there was no evidence to show he planned to go to D.C. at any time or that he was a part of any militia group. The deputy he was chatting with turned the conversation over to his superiors at the Polk County Sheriff's Office.
Some of the investigation is still ongoing, but as you can well imagine, having him arrested, it was important. Having him arrested before Inauguration Day was even more important.
So I'm going to stop it right there. Now, you heard that they said that there's no evidence leading to it, and so forth. This is Judge that said that, right? But they still arrested him. So the police officers are trying to do their job, but then, you have to have the other form. Now, in this country, you're supposed to have a fair and just trial, right? With evidence, not circumstantial, but we'll talk about that at a later date. We'll talk about that later on in the broadcast. But do you see how this is working? How this is going on? Now, it gets even worse, right? It gets even worse because, you know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of people are saying that, how did this happen? Well, how did they get all this information? Well, remember the last stream I was talking about and our esteemed elder DJ Music brought this up, and he did a breakdown on his channel, and I think y'all should go check that out about how a former Navy pilot that is a representative basically was explaining how this was an inside job. There were people walking around and they were showing off things and they were giving tours before this happened. Well, there's a congresswoman that actually quit her job, and she's one of those QAnon conspiracy theorists. She's one of those QAnon conspiracy theorists. And when she and she was really backing this whole Trump, the election was stolen things and everything, right? So it was also said that she tweeted Nancy Pelosi's location after the Senate was breached. Well, here's a follow-up story on that will tie this all into it, right? Now, okay. So this is a follow-up story. Congresswoman spokesman quits less than 2 weeks into term. Now, she just won this term, right? Denver, Colorado. The spokesman for Republican U.S. Rep. Lauren Boebert has quit less than 2 weeks after she was sworn into office, saying he was prompted to by the insurrection at the nation's capital. Ben Goldman confirmed his departure to the Colorado Sun after it was first reported on Saturday by Axios. The Sun reported that Golden did not respond to additional questions, but told Axios he was leaving in the wake of the deadly January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Boebert, a first-term Colorado Republican with links to the baseless QAnon conspiracy theory, has sought to overturn President-elect Biden's victory and gain attention for vowing to carry a gun into the Capitol. Now, this was the same woman that wanted to go through metal detectors, still carried a gun. Even though the metal detectors was up and you're not supposed to carry your gun into the Capitol and you're supposed to go through the metal detectors, and she didn't want to go through the metal detectors. Following the events of January 6th, I've decided to part ways, Golden told Axios, and I wish her and the people of Colorado's 3rd District the best. Boebert's office declined to comment. The office does not comment. Chief of Staff told Colorado replacement. Now, this is a big thing. Right? Now, this is the spokesman right here, right? That quit, right? Spokesman quits, right? Now, the spokesman quits. Guess what happens? The spokesman quits. Now, Boebert quits too, right? The spokesman left because the spokesman doesn't want anything to do with this. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, why would the spokesman quit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on, right? Now, Rep. Qaonn admits he saw Boebert giving tour before the Capitol riot. During the interview, he recalls his colleague taking a group of people for a tour same time after the 3rd and before the 6th. This article has been updated to include statement from Republican Lauren Boebert. Reverend Steve Qaonn, Democrat from Tennessee, revealed he witnessed Congresswoman Lauren Boebert leading a group through the Capitol building in days before the riot. We saw Congressman Boebert taking a group of people for a tour sometime after the 3rd and before the 6th. Qaonn remarked on CNN his memory was triggered by Rep. John Yermoth, who witnessed the alleged tours with Qaonn. She had a large group with her. It was pretty clear that her team is the team. She is not on the home team. She was with the visitors, he claimed. He continued to confirm he could not indefinitely pinpoint any of the guests as those participated. We saw Congresswoman Boebert taking a group of people for a tour sometime after the 3rd and before the 16th, Rep. Stephen Qaonn says. He and the colleagues saw Rep. Boebert giving people a tour of the Capitol in the days leading up to the riot. Now, this is on CNN, right? Now, new in text, it just came. Boebert denied the allegations made by CNN that she led a tour before the Capitol attack. I did not give any tours between January 3rd and 6th, Boebert says, right? Now, Boebert refuted these claims as false allegations and released a statement denying these, right? Now, here's the thing. According to a report, House Oversight Committee Chairman Carol Maloney, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, and House Homeland Security Chairman Benny Thompson, and House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nader issued a letter to the FBI and Department of Homeland Security. The committees will conduct a robust oversight to understand what warning signs may have been missed, determine whether these were systematic failures, and consider how best address the counter domestic violent extremism. They're not calling it terrorism. They're calling it extremism. See, there's a difference. And I want everybody to understand their verbiage and their wording when they say certain things. When they say violent extremism, right? That means you're extreme in your beliefs. See, when you say terrorism, the Terrorism Act means terrorists do not have rights. So they do not need to be held in a court of law. Okay? Especially after 9/11 has happened. Terrorists don't get rights. Okay? So they keep calling them extremists. Extremists get rights. You go through a judicial hearing. Now they must see black people as terrorists because we don't get those rights. They must see black people as extremists, and we've seen this all throughout the course of history with black folk. You see the links that they go through because, of course, you're going to be more sympathetic to someone that looks like you. But I digress. Including remedying any gaps in legislation or policy. Boebert's spokesman resigned from the position following the attempt at an insurrection. Ben Goley confirmed his departure to the news outlet. Now, think about it like this. He's falling on the sword. He's falling on the sword because he was the one to lead these people around. Now, think about it. The rep that said that she saw people, she didn't name any names, but these guys came out and named names on national television to put pressure on her, basically. And he fell on the sword and he removed himself because he was the one showing these extremists around and giving them the layout. As we can see with that brother that helped actually save the lives of the members of Congress by diverting the mob's attention, because the guy that was in the front that was leading the charge, he was the one that was a part of the tours, and because he probably went through there once, he was probably going off of his vague memory until the brother diverted his attention and saved all their lives. Following the events of January 6th, I decided to part ways with the office. I wish her and the people of the Colorado's 3rd District the best. Now, Boebert has backing from major NFL teams, such as the Cowboys and so forth. So those are the people that invested in her campaign. The office does not comment on internal personal matters with individual employees. Rep. Boebert has hired a powerhouse team, filled all staff positions in the office, and hit the ground running. Rep. Boebert looks forward to focusing on serving the interests of the people of the 3rd District. Okay. So, there's a deal that was struck all the way through, because now if you got members of Congress actually was in on the insurrection, now we have a bigger problem, right? That means the extremism and these things are all the way up to a point of no return. They're all the way up to a point of no return. So where do we go from here, right? Because I'm just showing you that the system is all the way corrupt. The system is all the way against you. You know what I'm saying? You can work within the system, but you would have to do more. We already knew this. I'm not speaking to the black people, the black Americans. I'm speaking to the white Americans, the Latino Americans, the Asian Americans. That the system of white supremacy does not just stop, with the minorities. It's actually infringed upon the rights of the said majority. When Trump won the presidency, people protested. They were a little angry, but Barack Obama came out being the president that he is, following the rules of engagement that 43 of his predecessors did, holding the office. Even George W. Bush, the 43rd president, held the office in such great esteem. And even to the latter part of Nixon would not do the things that this president has done in office. So now we're talking about Nancy Pelosi. Okay. Then we're talking about Nancy Pelosi, and they ran into an office. We saw the gentleman sitting there with his feet on the desk, but there's a thing that came out, right? There's a thing that came out, and that thing that came out was, you know what I'm saying? Capitol riot suspect plotted to sell stolen Pelosi's laptop to Russian intelligence authorities. So the man that was sitting there with a picture of himself with his feet kicked up on the desk was a diversion, because this is the real issue, right? Is a diversion. Okay. A Pennsylvania woman accused of being one of the Capitol rioters told a former romantic partner that she planned to steal a laptop computer from the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office and sell it to a Russian intelligence, court documents reveal Monday. Riley June Williams, 22, was charged with disorderly conduct on the Capitol grounds with the intent to disturb a session of Congress and other charges after her former flame turned her in. Williams surrendered to authorities in her home state of Pennsylvania, a federal law enforcement official said late Monday, before she was believed to have fled. Williams' ex, who was described in Special Agent Jonathan Lund's charging document as W1, Witness 1, called the FBI and said she intended to send the computer device to a friend in Russia, who then planned to sell the device to SVR, Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. Wow. 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 That's crazy. Right? So you're telling me that the guy that she was so you're telling me that the guy that was on the desk with his feet kicked up in Nancy Pelosi's office leaving those little memos was just a diversion because the girl grabbed the laptop knowing what they were looking for, and they ran out the door. So if that's what they grabbed from Nancy Pelosi, what did they grab from other members of Congress when they were kicking in the doors? This is mind-boggling, right? So all the tea leaves are there, right? You tweet the location that they just moved Pelosi. Now, if they could have got to Pelosi, they could, but that also was a signal that Pelosi was nowhere to be found. They were out the office. If everyone's in that area and they've been moved out, that means the office is clear. Now the office is clear. Now what else happens? Now you can get information to do other things. You may not can attack them here, but you can attack them somewhere else. It's the fear. It's the point and contention of the fear that I can always get you. I might not get you now, but I can get this information later. And then we're going to sell this information to our people outside of the country. And like our esteemed Cerulean Grey said, that's intent should be one-way trip to a black site. Exactly. But they peacefully came to her house, served her a warrant, and peacefully removed her. How many black people have been peacefully removed from their home? None of the Black Panthers been peacefully removed from their home. Martin Luther King wasn't peacefully removed from his hotel room. Malcolm X wasn't peacefully removed from the stage. But I'm just saying. Oh, and by the way, happy belated Martin Luther King Day. Right? Peacefully, right? Yeah. Just want to put that out there. Okay. So now we have something else, right? Because how did they get this, right? Because now we have to go down some list here, right? Now we have another one, right? Because I want to show you how deep this gets, right? And this whole option and this whole scenario of people not want to go into the military and things of that nature. Remember, we were talking about clearances earlier. So let's speak on this clearance here. New Jersey Army reservist with a security clearance busted for Capitol riots. U.S. Army reservist with a secret level security clearance, and had access to a variety of munitions described in court papers as a white supremacist and Nazi sympathizer, has been charged with taking part in the violent January 6th Capitol insurrection. Naval Weapons Station Early, which is also in Colt's Neck, according to an FBI affidavit, he has access to ammunitions, bombs, missiles, firearms, C4. He now faces 5 federal counts knowingly entering and remaining in a restricted building without lawful authority, disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds, disrupting the orderly conduct of the government business, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building, and obstructing a law enforcement officer. Navy Weapons Station Early is an operational support base for 4 military Sealift Command combat logistics ships: the USNS Arctic, USNS Robert E. Pearl, USNS William McLean, USNS Medgar Evers. At least 22 present or former members of the U.S. military or law enforcement have been accused of taking part in the Capitol riots. What y'all do not understand is that the military Sealift Command is what fuels, right? What refuels ships at sea. I was in the Navy. This is called unrep. Replenishment. You underway replenishment. That means you do not pull into a port. If your fighting force can keep on the mission and they can refuel and replenish their food, their weapons, and their fuel, they can keep going. So if he works in this area, he can give that information to the enemies of the United States of America, because we just saw what the girl did with the laptop. A laptop, and then you know all the military placements, because if you know where your supply line's at, an army can't fight on an empty stomach. This is dangerous. And he's not active duty. He is a reservist. That means he doesn't work there full time. So he has a civilian life also. See how dangerous this is? See how dangerous this is? This is dangerous. This is dangerous. Exactly, Cerulean. He had to act to distribute. CJ, but there's more, because I like to bring the receipts. I like to bring the receipts because there's also more. There's also more. I like to bring the receipts. Okay. So we have another one. We have an Army vet, right? We have an Army vet. If you're telling black people, how do you keep white supremacy at bay? You have to enter into the places in which they are. You have to get them out. You have to breed them out. You have to breed them out. White Army vet charged in shooting black girl at a Trump rally. In Iowa City, Iowa, a white military veteran shot and wounded a 15-year-old girl when he fired his gun into a car carrying four black teenagers during a tense confrontation at a rally in support of President Donald Trump near Iowa Capitol last month. Michael McKinley, 25, is charged with attempted murder in December 6th shooting in Desmond's, Iowa. McKinney, who was heavily armed and wearing body armor, told police he fired the shot in self-defense. A resident of the tiny St. Charles, Iowa, McKinney has posted on Facebook in support of the far-right Proud Boys against Black Lives Matter. In a news release detailing McKinney's arrest, the state police described an afternoon shooting at a parking lot and didn't mention the Trump car rally or the race of those involved. A city police spokesman said initial reports indicate the shooting was traffic related. Division of Criminal Investigation spokesman Mitch Burley said the agency released the immediate facts and circumstances as required. Well, because if you would have said that it was at a Trump rally and it was black people involved, so you didn't do your due diligence in reporting the facts as they were. But a review by the Associated Press shows the shooting was sparked by a belligerent political clash between a large group of white Trump supporters and four unarmed black girls, all aged 16 and under. The teen driver's mother said the girls argued with a Trump supporter about politics and were subjected to racial slurs. Rally goers blamed the teens for starting the confrontation, saying they were harassing and threatening the crowd. Four 15-year-old black girls and a black woman got more courage than a lot of you do to confront white supremacy. That's crazy. That's just out. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. That's just totally ridiculous. Right? An investigator says in court documents that McKinney does not appear to be among those rally goers who exchanged words with the girls before the shooting. Bystanders video obtained by police shows McKinney approaching the vehicle, pulling a handgun from his waistband and firing into the car 15 feet away. According to court documents, the bullet hit the leg of the girl who had been arguing with members of the crowd through the vehicle's sunroof, and the car sped off to take her to the hospital. A 73-year-old owner of the pickup truck, uh, Bob Berkeley Jr. told her he was glad that McKinney shot into the car and scared the girls away, saying he was worried that they might be armed. I felt relieved whose truck was scratched in the collision. Berkeley said the girls had been yelling anti-Trump epithets at him, and the others said the rally progressed through the heavily Democratic city. He said the vehicle drove wildly, veering in and out of the caravan and followed it to a parking lot where the route concluded. Fans of the president who were gathered in support of the attempt to subvert November election were having fun taunting the girls, Berkeley said. Berkeley, retired airport security work. See, I'm not going to read too much of this, but you see the mentality of these people. They don't care. That was a little girl. Dude came out of nowhere. He didn't say anything to him. He came out of nowhere and he shot him. Even opening your mouth as a black person, they feel as though you shouldn't do it. And if that's not white supremacy at its highest, but they know these people. That's why they don't say anything. That's why they don't do their due diligence. That's why they don't do their due diligence. Now here's a news article right? And I want y'all to see this also, because now they're scared, right? Now they're scared. Off the grid, heavily armed and radicalized. Here's a law enforcement's nightmare, right? Now this was done in the on the Sun paper, January 17th, 2021. Lonnie Kaufman, the man accused of driving the pickup truck filled with Molotov cocktails and other deadly weapons. Our esteemed Supreme Elder DJMuziq brought this up in his last stream that he did on his channel, on his YouTube channel. Check that out, where he was talking about. Now, if you read the news, if you're paying attention, they had Molotov cocktails. There was a truck found with ammunition, multiple Molotov cocktails, and homemade napalm. Right? This is the guy that did it. So here's the article and the follow up on that. Okay. Kaufman had no criminal record, no apparent social media accounts, and no city officials or law enforcement in the area have ever come in contact with him. I don't know him. I never heard of him. I haven't heard of anybody that did know him, says Ken Winkles, mayor of the 1,300 person town. So basically, there's 1,300 people in that town, and nobody knows who this man is. No one has ever ran into this man. Nobody knows this man. Okay. More than 50 people have been arrested in federal charges in the days after the mob of the pro-Trump supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Kaufman's face was not among those that. It's not even clear if he breached the building, but he stands out for the amount of weaponry he brought to Washington. The 60-year-old Alabama man with no criminal history or known extremist ties represent the worst nightmare for law enforcement, experts say. An apparent lone wolf who operated completely under the radar. He's not a lone wolf, and yes, he operated under the radar. And for him not to have a criminal record or no criminal history or none of that stuff like that, that mean if he's 70 years old, he grew up in a town with those people and he knew everybody all the way up, all the way down to the judge, to the dude that's out there cleaning the toilets. Okay? Is a wolf. Now they're trying to make this a lone wolf thing, right? You do not show up with all of that armament like you're carrying a battalion of weapons, like you're carrying a weapon cache, like you're resupplying because you knew something was going to pop off for people to do things. You was there to bring weaponry, and you were paid to do so because you knew how to do it. These are the people who keep law enforcement up at night, said Clint Van Zee, a former FBI criminal profiler and an NBC News analyst. I used to go to bed thinking, did I do everything I could? Have I looked for this? Have I looked for that? But what do you look for in a guy like this? This is the guy right here. Right here. That's the guy. Circled right there. Can everyone see the picture of that guy? Cerulean said America should end the global war on terrorism, recall all the troops. It has no place to keep up the charade of the war on terror while domestic acts of terror and treason are treated with clear gloves. That's facts. That's facts. Now, that's the guy. Now, can you guys see that? Cerulean says it's impossible for a lone wolf to operate under the radar. It requires connections and provisions. They talking to the public as if folk are stupid. They take Americans for fools. Facts. So, but this is the guy, and if you guys can see this guy, right? Okay, the rise from right-wing groups like the Proud Boys and Three Percenters has become a focus of the federal authorities in the era of President Donald Trump. The existence of people like Kaufman, loner types who amass large collection of weapons and who may become motivated to act on calls to overthrow the government pose even a greater challenge from law enforcement. Right? Now, this goes in. Now, this right here, right? This is what he had. Officers searched the truck and discovered it was equipped for war. Among the weapons found inside the interior of the truck bed, 3 guns, including an assault-style rifle, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, several machetes, camouflage smoke devices, a stun gun, a crossbow with bolts, and 11 Molotov cocktails in the form of canning jars with gasoline inside and a hole punched at the top. Right? Kaufman and his then wife purchased a 1,000 square foot home on 3 acres for $20,000 in April 2010. Records show. The house sits at top of a long driveway with a no trespassing sign beside it, a couple of logs laid out across blocking any vehicles from driving up to the house. This is 3 acres of land for $20,000 in 2010. The housing bubble was crazy. It was ridiculous. A federal agent has photographed speaking to a woman outside the house Thursday. During this time, records show that Kaufman qualified for 3 tax exemptions, a homestead exemption, a disabled exemption, and one for senior citizens. A public records offer a narrow glimpse into Kaufman's life. He married his wife March 1971, and 8 years later began working at the Nicholson File manufacturing of made files, circular saws, blade, power tools, accessory hand saws, records show. He filed a workman compensation claim in 2002, stating that he had carpal tunnel syndrome in both hands that required surgery. He also had a hernia after straining his back himself on back-to-back days in 2002. The court papers show the injury occurred when he was trying to remove a die that was stuck in a fixture and was exuberated the next day, lifting hook files approximately weighing 60 pounds. So this man was working way past 65. Kaufman was making an average weekly wage of $629. He was ultimately awarded a lump sum settlement of $20,000, which after attorney fees broke down to a weekly benefit of $14 a week for the rest of his life. Man, whatever attorney he had, he was trash. The only other court case involving Kaufman that the NBC News could find in Morgan or Coleman counties in his divorce, which was finalized in September 2019. So think about it like this, right? You got an old white man, worked his whole life, got his guns, got his tax exemptions and everything, right? And he is on the titty. And his wife leaves him. And she leaves him, she's taking half of that $14 a week, right? She's getting the house. He's getting kicked off the property. He's got nowhere to go. And the only thing that he looks at every day is that women ain't this, the government's that, listening to Fox News over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, over and over and over and over again. That they're going to take your jobs, they're going to take whatever, and then here we go. Right? And he gets with some guys and he's trying to get the glory days back because he's old. He ain't got nothing to live for, right? So even if he goes to jail, ain't nothing gonna happen to him. He's gonna be looked to as a hero because the biggest gang in the prison system are white supremacists. The biggest gang. It ain't MS-13, it ain't the Crips, it ain't the Bloods, it ain't none of that. The biggest gang in the prison system is white supremacists. The biggest gang in America are white supremacists. Now, let's get to the follow-up on our dude, our buddy, our friend. Somebody's cousin. We don't know who cousin he is, but this guy right here. Our favorite friend, the Qaonn shaman. You know, the guy with the bull horns on his head, right? With the bison helmet. So the attorney for the Qaonn shaman says Trump has an obligation to pardon his supporters who attacked the Capitol. Al Wick is the attorney who represents the alleged Capitol insurrectionist Jacob Chansley appeared Thursday on Komodo Prime TV time. Chansley, who is also known as the Qaonn shaman, was arrested for illegally entering the Capitol building and creating a disturbance. However, his attorney claims that he was invited by President Trump. My client wasn't violent, says Wilkins. He didn't cross over any police lines. What? Okay. He didn't assault anyone. He was there at the invitation of our president. Wilkins believes that Chansley's love for the president is what has landed him in so much legal trouble. He claims Chansley was encouraged by the president's speeches and tweets and calling for an intervention during the electoral college certification on January 6th. He loved Trump, said Wilkins. Every word. He listened to him. He felt like he was answering the call of our president. The violent assault on the Capitol. Listen, I'm not going to read the rest of this. Y'all read it for yourself. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I can't. Listen, you can't make this up. These are things that are ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Now we're going to bring up on a financial report. Okay. But before we bring up the financial report, we got to pay some bills in here, people. We got to pay some bills in here. You know what I'm saying? We got to pay some bills, and I'll be right back after this short commercial break, because, we love to pay these bills, man. You know what I'm saying? Bills got to get paid, and we like to support our interests, and we like to support our people. Okay?
Hi, this is Sharon from the JustaskChar Advice channel on YouTube. Join me every Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for an open panel discussion. You'll find myself, Classic Ruby, and others giving our honest opinion, giving several examples, and problem solving. If you have an email for advice, you can send it to JustaskChar@gmail.com. Hope to see you soon. Peace.
All right. So we have our incredible Char Willie, and we have our classic Ruby on Fridays. Just Ask Char Advice channel, and also they come back on Saturdays for article reactions. But tomorrow, we have on CRBJ Keep the Beat. You know what I'm saying? Also on the beat, we have On the Beat first with our esteemed Supreme Elder DJMuziq and JustaskChar. We have the On the Beat segment, and then right after that on CRBJ, we have to Keep the Beat with our esteemed Char Willie and classic Ruby. Please check it out. Wonderful time. Twerk in the chat room. You can watch it on Facebook. You can also go to the site and twerk in the chat room with us. We always twerking and listening to great music and hearing great presentations and everything like that. And also on Sunday, we have the backyard barbecue with our esteemed elder playing all of those great jams that we all grew up with. Growing up, old school music, Sunday backyard barbecue, getting them ribs on the spigot. Is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So check that out on Classic R&B Jams Radio, Sunday backyard barbecue. All right. Now the bills have been paid. Let's get back into it. All right. So with that being said, now we're going to bring up this financial report. Now, remember when I brought up that whole Clive Bundy thing with the whole insurrectionist thing, and they got away with it, and then they can't with the appeals court and stuff like that? Well, I know that y'all are interested into some follow-up if it comes up, and we like to follow these things up. So, real quickly, range squatter Cliven Bundy prepared to walk towards guns in Biden administration. Right? So, notorious Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy says he is ready to walk towards guns if the Biden administration takes action to force him to pay up for decades worth of rent and fines or seize his cattle that graze for free on public lands. He said in the interview, observers believe it might not be the best time for Bundy to make an armed stand on government land in the wake of the attack on the U.S. Capitol by extremist Donald Trump supporters. Bundy's refusal to pay grazing fees on public land or remove hundreds of trespassing cattle triggered a standoff between him and armed supporters in the federal offices in 2014. Bundy believes that the Joe Biden administration will make a move on him and others, and he told right-wing shock broadcasters Pete Stantonelli in an interview earlier this month. The rancher claimed they're just been waiting for this. The day that they can change this administration, everything changes. The danger, but it's not only the Bundy rant, it's for all Americans. We're in trouble. Now you see how this is going, right? Bundy praised the Capitol rioters, the million, the 100 million, maybe the 3 million. They were actually at thousands who heeded Donald Trump's call to go and get the job done. And he said, now, don't best believe he was out there funding this foolishness, right? But, and this is the thing, right? Just because you in charge don't mean you're smart. We know this. That is probably the dumbest thing he could possibly do. Right? Because if you probably would have kept your mouth shut, they probably wasn't thinking about you because they got more things to fry. But since you want to, say what you ain't going to do, but that was the point of contention, right? In our modern day era, we saw what happened in 1898. Now, this happened back in 2014. What you think they're going to do? Once they get this straight, oh, they about to pull y'all up by the roots. They about to pull y'all up like the roots. Hey, he fought back, Vonda. He fought back. He had them guns, just like how they ran up in the Capitol. Got them guns. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see some crazy gun laws happening. Okay. Now, I got this little segment of some things, and you know what I'm saying? I wanted to hit on some things, but I'll move a lot of these for next week. But I got this segment on crazy things that people do. Crazy things that people do. This is a segment. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the faint of heart. This is actually pretty bad. If you don't want to, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go through this very quickly. I'm not going to hit on these topics really hard, but this is the dark side of the news that I need to share with you guys. Okay. Here we go. Are y'all ready? Hope so. Okay. Remember, it's the news. I'm just reporting it. I owe it to you guys. Here we go. So, crazy things that people do. This is the segment in which I break down the crazy things that are in the news that come across the bylines that you're not aware of because the headlines are taking things off. But these are the crazy things that people do. Woman who padlocked a 7-year-old girl in a dog cage, causing weight to drop to 28 pounds, gets 3 years. This is the woman in question. This is the woman. There she go. Hope y'all can see her. There she go. An Ohio woman who padlocked a 7-year-old girl in a dog cage as punishment in her home's basement has been sentenced to prison. Lillian Cortarelli, or how you ever say her name is, 29, was sentenced Monday to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty child endangerment. Admitted to torturing the girl over the course of several months last year, including keeping her locked in a cage as a form of punishment. When the girl, then 7, was rescued from the home Cortinelli shared with her boyfriend, She weighed 28 pounds. Other children and a dog were living in the home at the time, according to the Canton Repository. However, there was no evidence that they've been treated the same. They were also removed from the home. The girl is now in the care of a family member. This is, yeah, they look like they look like they just on that meth. Cornelia's boyfriend, Derek Mayal, 30, faces the same charges and is scheduled to go in trial in March. She is accused of torturing the girl as well. Attorney information for him has not been available. Wow. But only 3 years. Only 3 years for that. You're right. You're right. Only 3 years. Yes. Yes. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. That's just, but it gets worse. It gets worse. It's more. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know this is a stickler, you know what I mean? This this is a stickler. This is a stickler. I know this is for a lot of people. This is whew. Yeah, when I read these things, I don't take, because I have children too, and this is not something that I want to bring up. You know me also, but man, this is horrible. But here we go. Boy killed by father after vacationing dispute in a heartbreaking murder suicide in San Francisco. It's a young boy right here. Looks a little mixed there. Looks like a well-to-do family, because this looks like a private school he's got there. He's got this is a private school. I could see that, right? A boy who was killed in an alleged murder suicide by his father has been identified as 9-year-old Pierce O'Lungley. Family tragedy. The boy and his father, Stephen O'Lungley, 49, were both found dead at their home on Scott Street, Marina District in San Francisco. Now, if you live in that Marina District where they got boats and stuff, you got money. On Wednesday afternoon, the San Francisco Chronicle reports the boy's mother, Leslie Hugh. So she's of Asian descent. Okay. So speaking of his last name here, looking at the child is white and the mom is of Asian descent. Very interesting here. The boy's mother, Leslie Hugh, Ho, I think it's Ho, basically, asked authorities to check on her son after learning that he did not show up for school that day. The father presumably shot his son multiple times before shooting himself with the same gun. Howe and O'Lungley divorced in 2016 and were involved in an ongoing custody battle over their son. In Howe's filings for sole legal custody of the boy last year, she mentioned her ex-husband growing adherence to the anti-vaccine movement, which has led people who believe that vaccines cause autism and other disorders. O'Lungley did not support Hugh's wishes to have her son vaccinated. The lawyer representing Hugh mentioned mental illness and domestic violence in a statement on Friday. Then she's further insisted that the boy died over more complicated reasons than a disagreement regarding vaccinations. As the father was seeing that he was losing his control, he punished Leslie with the ultimate act of violence, killing her child. She will suffer as intended for the rest of her life. The victim's family is asking for privacy at this time. Oh, good evening, JV. Sapa say to you. Half Korean, half white Irish. Okay. It's crazy. Thank you, Char. I'm glad you said that. Now, there's no words to describe that right there, right? There's no words to describe that. Now we almost through this, right? Now this one here is a little funny, but it's not funny at the same time. But it is a little funny. Police say Oregon man who stole a car with a child in the back seat came back and lectured the mom about parenting. Hold on, you telling me this guy stole a car brought the car back and lectured the mom about parenting. A carjacker in Beaverton, Oregon, returned a child to their mother after realizing that they were in the backseat of the car he was stealing. The thief scolded the mother for leaving the kid in the car and threatened to call the police on her before driving off in the car. He actually lectured the mother for leaving the child in the car and threatened to call the police on her. Beaverton police spokesman Matt Henderson told the Oregon police are looking for a man who they say stole the car with a child in the back seat, only to return the 4-year-old and reprimand the mom about her parenting. The carjacking took place outside a grocery store in Beaverton, Oregon on Saturday when the mom left the car running with the child in the back seat. Local authorities. The mother left the car unlocked and went inside to buy a gallon of milk and some meat. The thief happened to walk by, hop in the car, reported. He soon realized the 4-year-old was in the back seat and U-turned in the parking lot, returned the child to the mother, but not without scolding her, according to Beaverton police. He actually lectured the mother for leaving the child in the car and threatened to call the police on her. You listen, okay. You can't. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me get this straight. I can't. Now, listen, I'm going to put my hat on. Now, we all know about in the hood, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When times get rough, you got to do certain things, right? So, what I'm thinking, and this is just me, what I am thinking is what happened with the mother, right? And this is just me. I am thinking what happened with the mother is that she was going to do the whole car fraud thing, maybe, right? And then the guy, she got to know the guy. He jumps in the car because you leave the car running, right? You park next to a grocery store. You leave the car running. The only time you leave the car running is when there's someone in the car that can properly be in the car, right? If you got to keep it warm. Now, it's Oregon, it's cold, I get it. But why would you leave a 4-year-old in the car by themselves? I don't get it. I don't get it. That's child neglect. That's child neglect. That's child neglect. Dude said, I can go to jail because check this out. It's not grand theft auto because you didn't break into the car. The car was open, the engine was running, so it's unauthorized use. So even if he gets caught by the cops, he'll get a lesser charge. But if he's got a kid in the back, that's child abduction. That's why he turned around and dropped the kid off. He ain't trying to go to jail for nothing like that. Even he got morals. He cussed her out because she left a kid in the car. What if he was one of them pedophile dudes? You got the thief telling you how bad you ain't. Man, come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Look, you can't pay for this type of stuff because this is real life. These things are happening. This is the last one on the crazy things that people do. Okay? This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, here we go. Okay, so woman 70 years old filmed allegedly poisoning her husband's coffee with roach killer multiple times. Wow, this COVID, boy. Whew. A 70-year-old woman has been arrested after being filmed allegedly poisoning her husband's coffee with ant and roach killer on more than one occasion. The incident occurred January 12th with a 70-year-old Sancha Tavera of Queens in New York City was caught on video surveillance placing a white powdery substance from a bottle with a red cap and a yellow label into her husband's coffee, according to a statement from Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz. Taverna retrieved the bottle from the cabinet underneath the sink and allegedly spiked her husband's coffee on 2 or 3 occasions. Approximately on January 14, 2020, at approximately 10:40 p.m., detectives recovered a bottle with a red cap label from the spot under the sink. Authorities then discovered the contents of the bottle allegedly contained 100% boric acid, a substance that is used to kill ants and roaches. People have eaten boric acid and have nausea, vomiting, stomach aches, and diarrhea. Eating extreme amounts can result into red bull in a red boiled lobster like skin rash, followed by skin loss. People who have breathed in borax had a dry mouth, nose, and throat. Coughing, sore throat, shortness of breath, nosebleeds have also been reported, according to National Pesticide Administration. Domestic violence is not limited to mental and physical abuse. The defendant in this case allegedly used deception to sicken her spouse. Taverna has since been arraigned before Queens criminal. Oh my God, Taverna! Oh my God, woo! Let's give it up for them Latinas, man. She's ready for him to go. She took out that life insurance policy. She was trying to level all the way up, boy. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to get in one of them entanglements. Entanglements, boy. Well, you don't mess with them Latino women, boy. They take you out slowly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Man, that's what I'm talking about. Well, that's it for crazy thing people do. We always like to leave the show on a high note. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna finish this off before we do an open panel discussion on this. If people want to come up and say a few words before we end the show, but we would like to also leave it on a high note. Right? We like to leave the show on a high note because you got to do that. You got to leave things on a high note. Okay? Leave things on a high note. Got to leave things on a high note. So, doing this. All right. Okay. So, all of us love the movie Coming to America. All of us love the movie Coming to America. And we all know, the King of Zamunda, which was James Earl Jones played. And there's Coming to America 2 coming out finally. I hope it's really good. You know what I'm saying? Coming to America was a classic. Eddie's in charge. They got some new people in there. You know what I'm saying? So I hope this is going to be a great movie. Like the old one. Now, you sometimes it's not going to recapture what we want it to be because that time was a different time. And this is a new time and this is a new generation. So we have to be mindful of that. So, but Grateful at 90, James Earl Jones marks landmark birthday with strawberry shortcake and a big wish. There will be cake. James Earl Jones will be celebrating his landmark 90th birthday in appropriate style from his home in upstate New York on Sunday. And this is a quote from James Earl Jones. I will keep having to remind myself that it's my birthday. Jones writes in an email to the U.S. Today, adding that on the special day, I will make exception and enjoy a slice of strawberry shortcake, my favorite. Jones says he's feeling fantastic and grateful at 90 years old. Looking back at my life and extensive career, I'm so proud of my work and accomplishment. I love growing older and wiser with time. And this is James Earl Jones at 90. He looks the same when I saw him in Coming to America. Looks exactly the same. Looks exactly the same. Now, this is a new picture of him. This is the new picture of him in Coming to America 2. So, the legendary actor of the Broadway stage and screen with the iconic commanding voice has made vocal appearances with two of his famous characters in recent years, King of the Pride Land, Mufasa, and the 2019's Lion King remake, and as Lord Vader in 2019 Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. When Jones didn't appear at the 2019 Los Angeles premiere of The Lion King, fans expressed worry, but director John assured everyone the actor was fine. The Oscar-nominated Jones will make his next acting appearance as King Joffrey Juffer in Coming to America 2, streaming March 5th on Amazon Prime. The king of the fictional Zamunda and father of Prince Hakeem, Eddie Murphy. Director Craig Brewer told USA Today that when Jones appears on the Atlanta set pre-pandemic to shoot his role, it was like real royalty visiting. So, and this is celebrating his birthday. Now, unfortunately, the woman that paid his wife, she died some time ago. I wish she was still alive so she could be in Coming to America too, just to see that. And this is Regina King, and this is a quote from James Earl Jones. Once you begin to explain or use or excuse events on racial grounds, you begin to indulge in the perilous mythology of race. And this was a quote from James Earl Jones. Happy birthday to James Earl Jones. Right. So just ended it on a high note, you know what I'm saying? And everything of that nature. JP says Racial Kings is right now, right? I thought it was like I thought he was like no, yeah, he's always been old for us, you know. But I did see his earlier works with Sidney Portier, but he was always in the theater and stuff like that, always classical, doing a lot of classical stuff. I don't know if he won any Grammys, I don't know if he won any Oscars or any Tony Awards or anything like that, but I thought he did. I think he played Alex Haley in The Roots, did he not? I think he played in a lot. I'm like, James, yeah, James has been everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? James has been everywhere. If people want to have a few words, if anybody wants to say a few words or say anything, you know, people would like to say a few words or say anything. You know, you you can join if you would like, you know what I'm saying, if you would like to. Uh, I have no issues and qualms. I'm just you can join. You know what I'm saying? I can I'll just drop the link here also. Usually don't do this, but if people would open it up because it is Martin Luther King birthday today. You know what I'm saying? If you would like to join up, say a few words, I'll open it up for any words or anything that you would like to comment on said you know, said subjects that we covered today. But far as that, how was everybody's weekend? How was everybody doing? Uh, you know, I will put a kind of a call-in segment on the show, not, you know, all the time, but it will happen. We will get those things. I'm finally getting settled in my but yeah, just seeing how the world is going, things are happening in the world. There was also a report, just to let you guys know, there was also a report. Also, while we're waiting for, you know, if someone wants to come up and so forth. If someone, you know what I'm saying, if someone wants to come up and so forth, there was also a report about with the financials that I didn't really cover, but I'm going to bring this up because this has been a hot topic in our YouTube streets, so forth. In the YouTube streets, pretty much, if you've been paying attention, but this has been happening sparingly, but it's been really going on. So I'm gonna just put this out here. A year ago, women outnumbered men in the U.S. workforce. Of course they have, because there are more women than men. So that's, you know, a year ago, but that doesn't mean women get paid the same amount as a man does. So a year ago, women outnumbered men in the U.S. workforce. Now they account for 100% of the jobs lost in December. Okay, so in December, for the first time in 8 months, the economy saw a dip in job growth with 140,000 jobs lost in December. All of these jobs, according to to an analysis for the National Women's Law Center, belong to women, emphasizing the disastrous impact the corona pandemic is continuing to have on women in the workforce. In December, women lost a total of 156,000 jobs, while men gained 16,000 jobs, according to the NWLC. Of the net 9.8 million jobs lost since February, women have accounted for 55% of them. December's job report shows a stark difference from where the women were just a year ago, when the first time since 2010, women slightly outnumbered men in the U.S. workforce. Now, according to the December's job report, women aged 20 and over have an overall unemployment rate of 6.3%, which is nearly twice as high as it was around this time last year. Overall, men ages 20 ages 20 and over had an unemployment rate of 6.4% in December, with black men's high unemployment rate of 10.4% contributing to this number. Now you notice how they separate when they say women, they're talking about white women. When they say men, they're talking about white men. When they say black men, high unemployment rate of 10.4% contributing to this number. So contributing to the male number, then they want to add in the black people. And we have our esteemed Cerulean Grey here. Greetings, 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 greetings.
Greetings, team. Just DeAndre. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
What is going on? I'm gonna get through this job report real quick. You know what I mean? Because if you women are hearing that the pandemic P is in the mail and these other spaces, this is where they're getting this from. Okay, we expect that there will be a surge of the virus that will see women losing their jobs and have gained over the last few months. Education and workplace justice. Vice President for Education and Workplace Justice, but she says she's still shocked to see that women lost more than 100% of their jobs in December. I'm not shocked to see it. And in the leisure, the hospitality sector, 498,000 jobs were lost in December, where women accounting for 56% of these losses. Leisure and hospitality sector. This means anything from restaurants to strip clubs, right? So, despite making up 53% of the industry's workforce, according to the NWLC, in the government sector, 45,000 jobs were lost last month, with women accounting for 91% of these losses. Despite making up 57% of the government's workforce, and while the retail trade sector added 120,000 jobs in December, women accounted for just 44% of those gains, despite making up a 48.5% of the industry, right? Now, they go in here, when broken down by race, Latina and black women experienced unemployment levels that were higher than women overall unemployment rate of 6.3%. Last month, 9.1% of Latinas and 8.4% of black women were unemployed, compared to the 5.7% of white women and the 5.8% of white men. It is devastating, Martin says, in regards to pandemic impact on the working women. Now, see, here's the thing. When they keep saying these things, they're not talking about the minorities. They're talking about the majority. When they keep saying women, you notice you have to read it, right? They're not lumping women as a whole, right? Notice how they say Latinas, black women. Latinas, black women, then white women. They don't say women as a whole. Right? So you can read this article. It is in the link in the description below. So greetings, esteemed brethren. Just wanted to put that out there, so just put that out there. What's going on?
What's going on? Trying to adjust my microphone, make sure there's no echo.
Oh yeah, you're good. I can hear you loud and clear. There's no echo. If you guys don't hear echo, if you don't hear echo in the chat, press 1. If you hear 1, press 2. Yeah, the jobs report. I wanted to put that out there because we got to do the financials also. We can't just. But yeah, man. So those were the. What do you think about those? Okay, yeah, no echo.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
what I want to say is that this global war on terror, and greetings to the esteemed family in the chat, Lady JV. Now that these white extremists, these white domestic terrorists, have been treated with kid gloves, basically taking the Burger King.
Yeah.
America has proven that the global war on terror has been indeed a full-on sham. It has proven that. Now it's time for America to stop the bullshit go ahead and in the global war on terror, recall the troops. Now that they've proven the global war on terror from the beginning, in its inception, has been a total sham. If you cannot execute anti-terrorism policy domestically, you have no authority, no moral authority, and you can't even say, figuratively speaking, you don't have any leg to stand on when it comes to foreign policy and executing anti-terrorism measures. What this proves is that the global war on terror has been a sham. And the world is looking at us crazy right now. The world is laughing at America.
Oh, yeah.
The world is saying America is the biggest hypocrite in the world. They are charging domestic terrorists with disorderly conduct. Whereas just on accusation alone, you have black folk being very seriously accosted to where you have bodily injury. You have just on accusation alone, black folk being killed by same white supremacist terrorists who wear badges, many of whom assisted in the siege on the Capitol. And yet here we are, some 4 years since the birth of the initiative, that it takes some white domestic terrorists to prove the utility of the initiative. We even have to do it ourselves.
No.
In fact, what I would say to black folk from this point on, there should be, you should get that idea about peaceful protests completely out of your mind. You should not entertain any whatsoever idea about forgiveness. You should not entertain any idea whatsoever about togetherness or having allies. You should not care about upsetting any apple carts. You should end this idea about peaceful protest. You can see what your competitor group has done. They didn't siege that Capitol by peace or peaceful protest. You have open admissions of acts of terrorism, acts of espionage, intent of treachery and sedition.
And you know, Cerulean, and I wanted to cue in on what my fellow Haitian here, JV, says, right? And she says that was a weak move by America. They didn't show any sign of strength. What they showed is that an organized group can possibly overthrow them, and in many countries, those men would be charged with treason. And she also said in Haiti, they would have been executed as traitors. When you rise up against a strong government, either you successfully overthrow them or you die in your defeat.
And that's why, of all of the Caribbean countries, Haiti is probably the only country in the, other than Jamaica, but Haiti especially, always show the way for violent overthrows. Whenever they feel like they are under siege, when they feel like they are being played, the thing that I love the most about the Haitians is that they have no problem beheading those who they feel have betrayed them.
And our esteemed JV Dessalines holds the name of said Dessalines that did the in the overthrowing and the beheading.
Indeed.
Indeed. Indeed.
You know,
No.
unlike that Eritrean fella who didn't even know the name of his hero.
Facts. That was yeah. Yeah. That was facts.
And what these politicians don't understand about not having these people executed, hauled off to a black site, or at the very least to Fort Leavenworth, you know, to be raped by some war criminal during the Mogadishu conflict. It's been in
Oh
there
Lord.
since the 90s.
I like you and I want you.
What it did was show the world that not only was it vulnerable, but even if another country attempted it, that they would basically not have the ability to execute. And that's why you have people like China, Xi Jinping, in a very sarcastic manner, offering to lend America 250,000 peacekeeping, troops, putting those people on the ground in the country. As a matter of fact, though, as weakly as America has handled these domestic terrorists, I would say looking at Xi Jinping's offer may not very well be a bad idea.
Well, wait a minute. Remember 2019, right? Remember 2019 when the NBA players that summer was over in China, right?
Mm-hmm.
And LeBron James was there, and then you had the GM for the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, basically talk about free Hong Kong and stuff, right? And they asked LeBron James, and LeBron James said, "Dude, we in a whole nother country. It's totally different over here. You can talk all that mess when we get back, but that ain't got nothing to do with me because I got problems back in America." Didn't everybody call LeBron James a communist? Didn't everybody say LeBron James wasn't about for free speech?
Yes.
Was LeBron James right?
Yeah. I mean, like Vonda just clearly brought up, you look at the Black Lives Matter protests.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter protesters didn't storm the Capitol. They certainly didn't steal anything out of the Capitol. They certainly didn't attempt to sell sensitive information to a foreign government who is openly America's enemy and major competitor in a military-industrial complex locked in this battle of a new Cold War. But this is what we're dealing with. But the initiative's utility has been proven. Wherever there's white supremacy, you have to be in the institutions where it is employed.
Now, you know what? JV said this. He said another thing they showed is America's domestic weakness. If a foreign entity ever wanted to take over all they have, it is have domestic terrorist cells groom Americans to act as foreign agents. Here's the crazy part, JV. It already has happened. Actually, America was built off of that. Remember, America was a British colony. The French did it with the Spanish, called the Revolutionary War.
Well, if you really look at it, we don't have to go all the way back to the 1700s. The Trump-Russia investigation, if there is any doubt in your mind, if there's any doubt in your mind that there was clear collusion,
mm-hmm.
You know, there was a guy in the 90s, he's a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
His name was Yuri Bezmenov. He was one of the first Russian defectors to openly talk about how Russia is creating a counterculture in the underbelly of America.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first to do that. Subverting the youth. Then 20 years later, this is what you have. Why are they trying to do this? Well, they're trying to erect Trump as a Putin-style leader. where he becomes the end all be all, you know, an Emperor Palpatine, if you will.
Mm.
But just on order.
Just on order.
Setting up gallows throughout the Capitol, so where they had intent to hang all of the Democrat and create a one-party system. Do you know what countries in the world have one-party systems? Communist countries.
Mm-hmm.
China has a one-party system. Russia has a one-party system. You know, back during World War II, Germany had a one-party system. That's why you see so many neo-Nazis and Nazi sympathizers, because they want a one-party system. And let's just be honest and stop pretending as if we don't know that Democrat is the code word for black.
It's more abstract, right?
So abstract that you think that they're actually talking about a party.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Why do you think they would piss and shit in the Capitol? I mean, if it was really theirs. It was the shit on the black legacy. They know who built Washington.
Yeah.
They know who built this country.
Yep.
So they piss and shit on the legacy that you created. The black American built this country. The black American made this country what it is. The black American is the reason why this country still exists as a first world power. And here we are. We got Negroes running around here putting foreign motherfuckers on pedestals.
Oh, speaking of which, Cerulean, would we since we went that way, do you mind if I bring up a receipt about something of how that the our foreign cousins across the pond imitate us so much, even to the detriment of their own selves?
Hold on. Does this have anything to do with the...
No. This is the article.
Oh,
you know, I'm not going to do that. But I was
like,
going to
like dying laughing on this bitch.
Yeah, I know, right? Hold on. Let me find this here. Let's see. All right. Now the thing with the foreign entity thing, I found an article on that, right? This is in my world news thing, right? So let's just check this out real quick. Right? I like to, I was planning to bring this up, but I wanted to make sure you came up here before I brought this up here. You know what I'm saying? Because, so here we go. See if you guys can see this. News report finds alarming number of cases where drill music was used as evidence in UK courtroom. I don't know what drill music is, but drill music is words in England for trill music, aka trap music. Did you hear that, Cerulean? Now, who's been sent to jail because of the lyrics in their music?
Black Americans.
New reports finds alarming number of cases where drill music was used as evidence in UK courtrooms. Now, we all heard that the black people in the UK only accounts for 6% of the population in the United Kingdom, right? Is that correct? Okay, cool. According to a new report by the BBC, drill music is increasingly finding its way into courtrooms around the UK. The report looked at 67 trials that took place across the UK from 2005 onwards, where road rap and UK drill was used in evidence. Most of these cases were in the last 2 years, and many of them featured allegations of murder. The vast majority of the defendants in those cases were young black men and boys. Only 8 of the defendants were female, and almost half were teenagers. They're trying teenagers as adults. Wow, this is crazy. In a blog post for the London School of Economics last year, Abani Aswasu, I can't pronounce the rest of his name, assistant professor of law at LSE, wrote, the case law shows the lyrics and music videos are used almost exclusively as evidence against black young men and boys accused of serious offenses in urban areas, usually London, East London. London,
Now
East
you,
London,
now you notice.
London.
Now you notice it says accused, not convicted.
Accused, right? This indicates a deliberate tactic whereby prosecutors are able to draw on stereotypical narratives to construct the case, theories, and in other words, prosecutors can use lyrics and videos to tell a story of dangerous rapper that reflects long-standing stereotypes about black males as criminals. In doing so, elements of black youth culture are conflated with serious offending. We see this also in the link to gangs. Dr. Ethan Quinn, an academic at the University of Manchester, who has worked as a defense expert witness on almost 20 trials, set up the prosecuting rap research project to shed light on the dangers of using drill and rap as evidence. She worried about the use of drill as evidence and pointed out that there's also the issue of using an art form as if it were a documentary. Will also added that the shock and the bravado of drill is part of theater of it. It's out to shock. The music is meant to alienate parents, adding that it is no place in the courtroom. Quinn elaborated on the subject when a police expert witness from the Met Police drill music translation cadre. They have to translate the lyrics so they can use it. Took the stand in a recent case. He defined drill as typical, reflecting life on the streets with lyrics that tend to gritty, violent, realistic, and nihilistic. This realistic frame can seem compelling within the evidentiary context of the courtroom. With defendants advised not to take the stand in their own cases, the danger is that the music comes to speak for the voices of the young people in the dock. The dock, East London, that's the warehouse district. That's the hood. That's the ghetto. That's the trash place. Okay, the dock. We say the hood. We say the ghetto. They say the dock because that's where all the immigrants come from. Mainly, they don't fly in. They come through boats. Ain't that right, Cerulean?
Well, let me ask you this. Well, what would you do for your green card? Like, yo.
I'm just saying. Listen. Look. Since we have British people in our spaces now, but since they don't want to talk, since they like to talk about us, I think it's only fair that we could talk about them.
Well, of course.
Okay, all right.
But it also could be the fact that we have a lot more to talk about than they do. And the reason why is because they're really just not that interesting. Like, let's just be honest. If I was to go to Britain or be amongst a British crowd and speaking this way about British, say blacks, the black Brits, talk about how fucked up they really live, right? Or how the fact that most of them are basically descendants, or either anchor babies themselves or descendants of anchor babies, or the fact that their entire existence is that of one of welfare brought to you via foreign aid and immigration, mass immigration.
Mm-hmm.
And despite all of their bullshit origin stories about how they come to a Western nation with nothing, how you're obviously coming to a Western nation for something, and it's because countries like Britain, Germany, France. Well, it was until Germany about 4 or 5 years ago ended their very generous immigrant and refugee policies. And they realized that it had been draining their economy. And they just like, you know what? If you want to come to Germany, now you have to support yourself by your own money. And that's why here in the far western hemisphere, i.e., America, Canada, you have people like Nigerians who, when you're talking about African groups, Nigerians especially, the biggest beneficiaries of Africa of foreign aid policies and immigration policies. There's more Nigerians. Nigerians are the biggest African population in the United States. There's more Nigerians here than Ghanaians. There's more Nigerians here than Liberians. There's more, and Liberians are just like Black Americans. I mean, that Liberia was built by Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but yet still, there's more Nigerians here in America than there are Liberians. There's more Nigerians here than there are Kenyans or Angolans or even Arabs. And let's just be real. They didn't come here with nothing. They came here by playing the Nigerian prince or Nigerian princess scheme on some lowly white with low self-esteem in order to create some kind of an anchor baby to permanentize their children as American citizens.
Now, Cerulean,
and the same thing has happened in Britain. Nigerians don't go to Britain for business. They go there for the handouts first, and the handouts allow them to go into business.
No, you know me, Cerulean. Now you know me, and Neek has brought it up. Now you see this. Now you know what's coming next, right? Because you know what's coming next. Because we like to laugh, right? Because when I bring this subject up, right? Well, let's just get into it, right? So we have a video from this brother. I don't always agree with what he says, but he is logical enough to let other people share his views on his platform, and he also has women and men up there that don't share his same views, but they can have a logical discussion about it. And his name is Mediocre Tutorials, and he also has people sitting next to him when he's discussing these and doing these reaction videos. Now, I'm not going to play his reaction because I can't find the video anywhere else, but this is a group of women, British women, sitting there saying that men are trash, and there's one woman that's up there that's talking. But I don't want y'all to clue in what they're saying because, women in our community say the same thing. But with that being said is I want you to clue on how they look, right? I want you to clue in on this because we have people that are in this space that talk about Black American women, male or female, like dogs. Right? So, and they talk about Black American men too, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this right here. And our esteemed Callie Jane, if you would be so kind to wire me $500 so I can unlock my royal inheritance of $500 million, brother. So here we go. Right? Here we go. I'm going to share this on the screen. Matter of fact, I need to get this a big screen on this one. We can see the whole screen, Cerulean.
Yes, brother. I can see the whole screen.
Okay, so here we go. This is Mediocre Tutorials, right? Let me get this. Let me see if we can let's go to full screen. Right? Let's see if the stream take. Okay, yeah, so full screen. All right. So what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to look at these women, right? Okay. This woman here, she's actually the most sensible, but everybody's gonna get roasted, right? She got a velour sweatsuit on.
Man,
look
at this environment that they're sitting in.
Yeah.
This is squalor. The damn furniture don't even match.
Look, it's faded. Like, where's the, like, if you're going to listen, if you're going to imitate black folk, you need plastic on this couch. Where's the plastic? The plastic keeps the couch from fading. There's a reason why black people keep,
or at least have some class and put a, you know, like one of those throw blankets on the, you know.
You know what this looks like? You know what this looks like, Cerulean? I am waiting for a rat to walk across the floor, eating Funyuns, watching them. Because this look at this. Like, look at this right here. Like, look. Who's got a rotary phone? Like, who set this up? Like, first of all, listen, I'm a film guy. I'm a film guy, Cerulean, right? Why do you have a pole to hold up the roof in the middle of the frame like this? Who thought this was a good idea?
Well, you know, Nollywood directors.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, right. Then what's up with this phone? Like, what's up? Yo, listen, I ain't seen one of them since I was small. Right? So you got this. Now, this is what I want to get on here, right? She looked like Missy Elliott after she lost weight. Ain't nobody who wearing velour sweatsuits now, right? Old girl over here look like you know, all those pictures you see, Cerulean. You ever been to a black, like you ever been to one of those natural hair salons?
Well, you know them sorry ass Africans and black Brits, man. You know they just haven't perfected still in a black woman's swag yet.
But we gonna.
They haven't perfected, you know, they haven't perfected still in imitating the black woman's swag yet. You know, they're still learning how to steal her swag.
But you could have swore, you know what I mean, the way we hear about these women, these stargates, the way we hear, they got it, right? So why are they imitating black women's swag 15, 20, 30 years ago, right? You know what I'm saying? I remember velour sweatsuits came back, you know, when I was in high school. This was 95, 96.
It's just like Eastern Europe. You walking in a velour sweatsuit, what you a Chechnyan pimp?
Man, who we telling? Hold on. Ori said I can spot an African laid wig from miles away. Don't worry. I got you, sister. We gonna zoom in.
You notice you don't see no tails on zebras in Africa, right?
Okay. Look at this. We gotta zoom in here. Look. First of all, hold on. Wait a minute. This the one with the most mouth, right? This one right here. This one right here. We gotta get to her. Yeah, this one right here. Hold on. YouTube don't want to operate. I gotta get that close up. Hold on, I gotta get that close up. Okay. Now, this is what I want to know. How did you get a jean jacket and some khaki pants to be the same color?
Look, man, I haven't seen a black American woman wear a jean jacket since Little Kim was hot.
Man, listen, I'm telling you, houseway. But look, but
hey, honey, I haven't seen it. Like, come on, man. You copying black women's style from the 90s. See, I told you they ain't caught up yet. They haven't caught up to stealing black women's swag yet.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I've met many of black women. I have seen the weave and the wigs be great. There's a black girl sitting in her house right now with a mannequin practicing to be a hairdresser. On her worst day, can make a wig better than this. What is this?
That is not even a wig. That is
what is this?
Dye laid to the side, straight custom made hyena pelt.
What is this?
Hyena pelt dye.
Vonda said, you still, that's right. You still have it, Vonda. You're not actively wearing it. Like it is the best. Like it's the best. Listen, Vonda, you got to think about this, Vonda. You are not going on to a television show.
Who flat iron? Who flat iron?
And you're not going to wear that jean jacket, Vonda, on that television show. Okay?
Flat iron the hyena belt and
On the hyena belt. Look, listen, hold on. It gets better. It gets better. Hold on. Let's bring it back. Because every time I get these close-ups, YouTube just don't want to operate with me. Okay. What black Barbie doll did they decide that she should look like? What is this? Who is this? Why is this? Someone explain to me. Cerulean, can you explain to me what this is?
Man, that
somebody, ladies in the chat, please tell me what this is.
That is clip-on baby hair. That's clip-on baby hair.
Look, but see, she was the one that was making the most sense. Look at that. Look. Listen, man. Listen. You know what she looks like? She looks like Dennis Rodman when he dressed up in drag to marry himself.
Mm.
Remember, because he had the nose rings and the piercing, right? Right?
Yeah, you got one girl in here. If she covered her mouth to cough, she looked like she about to get kidnapped.
Oh yeah, we gonna get to her. No, I'm just saying, but these are British women, right? These are British women. Hold on. The issue with the woman's wig is that her braids underneath are jacked up. Her wig is lopsided. Okay, let's see what else we got here, right? Because we
can tell she's from the docks.
You said they all from the docks. She made this wig herself, watching YouTube videos with one hand. Look, Cerulean, you know what's bad? Listen, Cerulean, what's that famous thing where black people know it's bad, but they don't want to say nothing wrong? Bless her heart. Struggle Barbie.
That wig was made by old boy with that hand in a scary movie that was stuffing the turkey.
Oh, with my strong hand. Oh, God. Hold on. I just hate her wig altogether. It's all over her damn forehead. Now, hold on. It gets worse. Hold on. I got more evidence. And
if you got a big forehead, sport that shit. Why being embarrassed putting some clip-on baby hair to cover up your forehead? Don't you know a woman is supposed to have a lot of forehead? It adds to the symmetry of her face, even when the face is asymmetrical.
Okay, so
I mean, look at Brandy. Brandy has an asymmetrical face, but she shows that forehead off, and her face just suddenly the symmetry comes back. I mean,
yeah, you got a big forehead, show it. Now, this is what I'm trying to figure out, right? Okay, her braids is cool, but what's up with these two right here? Like, why is they going forward? Like it's like this. Because these supposed to be back, right? Like she's wearing them out. Like I don't understand, right? Now, out of all of them, she looks the most pleasing, not because of her skin tone, but because the makeup that they're using actually matches her skin. You notice everybody, regardless of their skin tone, has the same makeup, like color as her.
Well,
like they could
again. These are black Brits, so they don't really have any creativity. It's just like they just have one base colors, and well, y'all all gonna use the same thing.
Look at this. Hey, Bomb, we over here roasting her that shall not be named cousins over in England right now, stealing black women's swag. If you want to know what's going on, we're roasting, right? We're roasting. What's going on, Bomb? So now let's move over here. Now look, old girl. This is the one that's talking the most stuff. Now, what I want to clue in on, and this is what I want to clue in on right here.
Maybe you should play a clip, play a little bit of it, just let them hear the way these
brothers talking. Yeah, oh yeah. Now, what I wanted to show is this right here. Old girl When the last time? See, y'all didn't even know that this was a gold necklace because the chain is so thin.
Well, they can't see it because you got the
Yeah.
comments up there.
Yeah, look at it. Look. Hold on. Let me. Okay, let me take the comments down. Hold on. Let me take the comments down. You see that thin gold chain? You see that thin gold chain right there? You can't even see the chain. You just see the name on it. You know what I'm saying? You can't even snatch. Listen,
I haven't seen an American black woman wear those since I was in high school.
but what I'm trying to say is, if a woman would get her chain snatched, it would at least leave a wep around her neck. That wouldn't. If a dude snatched that chain, he might cut her head off. That chain so razor thin. Like, dude, what is this? What is this? Lord. But let's play some of this. I hope. You know what I'm saying. Let me. Can you hear that, Cerulean?
Mm. It's a low.
It's low. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's bring that back, Cerulean. Let's bring that back. You saw what I saw, right? You saw what I saw.
Yeah, roll that bean footage back.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get to where she did whatever she did with her head, with the shaking of the neck thing. I'm trying to get to that action. Did y'all see all of that glue? Hold on, this is. Okay. Why does she look like the light skinned girl, but the rest of her neck look like a whole different person? Y'all see this, right?
Trying their damnedest to give off the air of a black American woman.
Yes.
Look at this.
Now, here's the other thing, right? No, I gotta ask y'all ladies in the chat, right? I gotta ask y'all ladies in the chat real quick, Cerulean. And Cerulean sees this right here, right? Right? She has a whole suit on, right? She has a whole suit on, but she ain't got a shirt on underneath. And that suit isn't a cotton suit. That suit isn't a silk suit.
Other than the fact that her damn hands is a completely different color than her face.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Listen. Look at this. Man, she looks like somebody I'm about to get vibes of dominated. She looks like somebody, man. Hold on, wait a minute. She got a whole pantsuit on and she got Reeboks on with no socks. But she ain't got nothing underneath this pantsuit. And you can tell her and the girl that's next to her are friends, right? Because she tried to dress like her, but she would have go with the polyester pantsuit.
Right.
And
she got edges by Uncle Ben's instant rice. Because the wrong person see that, hear me up here talking, like, you talking about black women? Like, no, I'm talking about immigrants.
look, dude, listen. Now, Cerulean, you said something, right? Okay. You said if you got a big forehead, let it go. She ain't got nothing underneath, Cerulean. Look at this. She just came there with a look. She ain't got a bra on underneath this. She just came there with a suit jacket on. No shirt on underneath. Look, you can see her stomach. Look right there.
She got her fashion sense from watching Boomerang. You know, because the motherfuckers is trapped in the 90s over there.
Yeah. So she wearing the Grace Jones outfit. You know what I'm saying? She look at her. Listen, man. Listen. listen, baby, you need a wig. This you don't your forehead. Listen, you can't start your weave 3/4 the way to the back of your head. You looking like Stevie Wonder right now with them braids. Old girl is over here.
Be honest, they look like they just have, they just look like they're just happy that all of their you know visa applications were accepted by Britain. I mean, that's really what you see, because when African women get to a Western nation, that's how they start talking.
Yeah,
And
like
and if you're a black man listening to that, you know, uh, you might not even understand that these are literally foreign nationals, literally talking about their own group of men.
yes, exactly.
And I don't really blame, say, a Nigerian woman for thinking that Nigerian men are trash. I mean, look at how
Yeah,
Nigerian men are 100% of the government, and look at the condition of said Nigeria.
exactly. I'm like they have a esteem thing, and this is the thing that I wanted to show. What I mean, y'all. Um, this is this is all old. This is all fashion Nova. Like, listen. So the next time that y'all, yeah, this is all. This is all fashion. Listen,
If it wasn't for the American black woman, Fashion Nova wouldn't be shit. Okay.
You said Patrick Ewing hands with Steph Curry face. I'm done. I'm done.
I got the Patrick Ewing hands right.
No, listen. But the reason why I'm doing this is because there's been this big thing well, we still got to claim them because they black, so we still got to claim them. But in the streets, in our sector of YouTube, where we have been infiltrated time and time again by these foreign invaders or infractions in our family business. You know what I'm saying? And we can have whatever opinions that we want, and we are dysfunctional. We do some dysfunctional stuff, right? But you can't have a group of individuals that are telling you you ain't this, that, and the third, and speaking on the plight of ADOS people, and then they're sitting up there trying to copy you. Everything that you're doing, they're not copying your hard work and dedication. They're not copying your excellence.
Well, let's just do the math, and this is why I always say, American black women are the best, are the best as far as any demographic of Negroes and around the world. Like, you go to Britain, the only party that non-whites are allowed to be a part of is the Labor Party.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Here in America, the black woman here in America has more political power and sway than any other group of black women in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want you to picture that. Like, a foreign group of women have no motherfucking leg to stand on when it comes to talking about black American women. That's what it is. And
yeah.
The same goes for, I would say of the black man. Like, you can't be a black British man, talking down about black American men. Like let's just be honest. Like, you haven't done for Britain what the black American man has done for his own country.
Yeah.
You just haven't. Like, and it goes the same for Africa too. Like, you can't be from a third world African country as a man talking down about what we as black Americans do. Do we know we have dysfunctions? Yes. And those are our problems. I rather much hear about your problems. I mean, if we are truly brothers, I need to know how my brother is being affected by this thing called global white terrorism and supremacy. I don't need to be constantly reminded of my own problems, because I know what my problems are. I know what black Americans' issues are. But but when you dogpile on the black American, it gives this illusion, especially to the ignorant Negro, especially what I call the derelict Negro male, it gives him the illusion that the culture that you come from is so perfect. But yet we see the evidence of how whenever these people try to chameleonize themselves amongst black people in the aggregate, and how they fail miserably, as you see here. The chick got, clip-on baby hairs. You got a chick that is covered in their mouth, that it looked like somebody was trying to kidnap her, as our esteemed lady Callie said, got the Patrick Ewing fingers, looked like she's used to palming the ass of a zebra, right?
Listen, and I would like to say this, and the reason, listen, and the reason why I'm doing this, and I want y'all to be like, because if somebody peek in and like, oh, they good, no, these are not black women. These are British women.
Yeah,
they're British women,
and I'm pretty sure, due to how horribly they fail at imitating black women, that they're probably of Nigerian descent.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the light skin one, because you can see like this one's definitely like, if you look at them, like if you go through this, you can look at her facial features. She's probably first generation. You know what I'm saying? She's probably first generation right here.
Nigerian Brit, anchor baby,
Yeah, this is Ethiopian. She's Ethiopian. You can tell. She's Ethiopian, right? Then you go over here. Let's look at the old girl, man. Oh, man, I feel sorry for this sister. Somebody tell his sister not to walk on there with a velour sweatsuit, looking like a extra from some new pop group that Simon Cowell was trying to come out with. Look, you notice I can't really find any close-ups of everybody else.
Looking like an extra in a P.D. Pablo video.
Yeah, but you notice I really can't find any close-ups of everybody else. It's usually the light-skinned chick. And they like to play her off of the dark-skinned chick, right? Even in the editing of this, while I'm scrubbing through, they're playing the colorism thing. Right? Like, why is it okay for the Ethiopian chick to have the close-up with the, because if you look at it, she looks the best. But no one told her to come there, like, you know what I'm saying, with a bra that would lift up them titties. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you notice how all of them, like, come on now. Come on. Look how she's dressed, right? And look how the rest of them dress. Who did the wardrobe? Right? Who did the wardrobe? Who did the makeup? Right? Right? Everybody got on wigs, but the light skinned one got something that was, the lighter one got something closer to natural hair. You notice that, right?
Yeah.
Right? They put all the other women in non-natural hair. You know, a woman can wear whatever she wants. But if you're going to wear non-natural hair, you got to make it look good. You can't look like you just rolled out the bed and just threw it on and just showed up. And then they got them in the warehouse. Now, what do you put in warehouses, Cerulean?
Man, got the discount total. Okay.
Yeah. Look, you know what I'm saying? Because if you look at her right here, right, you could tell that she is probably second or third generation.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at the facial features, right. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'll tell you this: if you look at that hand,
yeah,
like that hand, it looks awfully suspicious.
If you look at her, she looks second generation, right? Because she still has those.
Look like that hand was made by the same person that makes Batman's tool belts.
not Ruben Fox. Right. I'm trying to get old girl with this damn hair, man. I'm trying to get up on her with the, oh man, if I can find it like that. Yeah. And look at old girl right here. She's probably third or fourth generation. Like, they've been there for a while, but she's hood. Look at them hoop earrings. Look at them. Look at them. Them things look like hula hoops. Look at them. Look at them. You know what I'm saying? Like Jesus. But just to show you ladies that you don't have to, or the ladies going off in the chat, in the comments, so they going off, but just to show you ladies that you got, if don't pay them, don't pay these people any attention.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
these are your imitators.
These are the ones that are imitating. These are the chicks that they're putting up on a pedestal because they are listening to what they're saying, right? They don't
Well,
want.
it works out perfectly for a foreign national immigrant trying to either get a green card or trying to get a anchor baby rooted in American society. It works out perfect, right? To get some foreign national to shit on black women and say, oh, you guys are so dysfunctional. You're this and you're that and you're this and you're that, and what it does is good for them because it hires their potentiality of an actual mate to put down black American women to make themselves look better simply because they're agreeing with whatever bullshit that some Negro with low self-esteem is pushing, right?
Yeah.
But we saw, I mean, you look at those little clips from like 90 Day Fiance. Look, they come from squalor.
Come from squat, like that's what I'm saying. Like you have to like like I said, it's one of these things.
See that 90 Day Fiance? You'll
Oh
see
yeah.
you'll see why nigga will fly a fucking quarter way around the motherfucking world, right? To sleep on a floor under a tin roof that's leaking.
You know what? Next stream we gotta do that.
No wonder certain motherfuckers got to go over there and buy household appliances and shit because they don't have the quality of life we have here.
Exactly. I'm like, and this is the thing. What I say, and I want to make this apparent to black people is a lot of time we look at a lot of what we don't have comparing to the upper whites, but we don't look at what we do have and the opportunities that we do have, and we need to take advantage of those opportunities, and we need to get together by any means necessary. By any means necessary, we need to start getting hung up on particulars of certain bull stuff. Now we need to hold people accountable and hold a code, yes, and call those out. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is it's not what it seems. And when people that are not for our cause or people that come outside of our realm are now critiquing us, we need to put them in their place. It's no different. We need to carry that same code that we would carry, that if you got a friend over your house and you getting into it with a family member, and that friend was to jump into that conversation, even if they was having your back, y'all both would say, you need to stay out of this. This is family business. Right? Now, if you're talking to that friend to the side, they say with their piece, but they're not to interject into family business like that. And that's what this basically is. This is family business, and we should handle it accordingly. And anybody that's not from ADOS, ain't came from the Caribbean, ain't came from South America, ain't came not in the North America, or came from North America, you have no right to speak on what goes on because you have a whole country and you were derelict in your responsibilities. And by shipping the descendants over, you basically went to grab power that you didn't even know how to wield, and it was all a trick bag from the start. You are the most culpable, because I don't blame, you know what I'm saying, the first time someone takes advantage of you, it's their fault. If you continuously let this cycle continue, when the self accountability comes into play on your end of the bargain, on your end of the span, you handed over the reins of power to these people. Black people in America, the Caribbeans, and things like that, and in South America, we were never in it. We came in under the power, under the boot heel of the power structure, and for 400 years, we're still working towards it. And the only successful country that is in the Western Hemisphere that have actually accomplished this is a Caribbean country by the name of Haiti. So let's just get this fact. And even Haiti, after it built itself up, went to go help build America. That's where you get Louisiana from. So let's just get and so if you do the research and you do the things, and that's why I tell black women, if them niggas over there wanna worship the imitation of you, right? Right? Quita, I'm gonna call her Quita. Because that's what they got. Quita, right? Because you got your Ling Ling, you got your Ling Ling, your Becky, your Mariz, and then you got Quita.
But see, and even with the bullshit that those females were talking, I'm cultured enough to even understand why they would have that opinion. You come from a country in which men have 100% rulership, and they have destroyed said country.
Yes.
They have sold said country out. You can't blame a matriarchy or a gynocracy on that when the whole country is ran by men of your majority class. And so I could understand why a woman from Nigeria would have that opinion of Nigerian men. And the same goes for in the same, I would say, for any country that has all male rulership. Like you can't sit there and tell me about no fucking matriarchy or no motherfucking gynocracy, and men still have the majority control and rulership. No, because if they're in rulership, that means that this shit is their fucking fault. See, that's called understanding and fairness. Something that our so-called brethren from across the pond in London and the UK simply just don't have.
Let's say this also, right? Let's just say the ones that we've ran into, right? Because there was one that did hold the other ones accountable.
Yeah,
there was one. So we can't. So this is what I would say. I would say the loud minority, right? The loud minority, right? Because the way they came into the space, right? Because then that shows that derelict DNA, that whoever they see is in power, they're going to lean to their belief system, but they really don't believe it. So let's just say this space was like it was 4 years ago, and everything was pro-black and all this and all of that. They would have came under the guise of what? We are your brothers. We are pro-black.
Brother. We are your brothers from across the pond, my brother.
Right? But since that the permeation in that space was at the time of where the dysfunction was at an all-time high with the men, right? Then they came under the guise because they were not even accepted in their own sphere, because they are outcast from their own society within that enclave, because they're not being held accountable. Right? So I see what it is, but best believe you me, right? Because I will find and I will report. And we will have discussions about it. Since it's open season on us, it's open seasons on every last one of y'all. And then when you have the balls enough, you can come up and have a conversation with me. I'll be the man on the wall. I'll hold you accountable. I'm not going to beg you to be great, but I will hold you accountable. So, any final words? Because the producers in the background screaming. Wrap that shit up, B. Wrap it up. So, you know what I'm saying? Now we're going to give the floor to our esteemed brethren, Cerulean Grey. His links to his channel is in the description. I gotta get the new link to the initiative on grayregime.tv. And we're trying to bring him back, kicking and screaming, so he can drop more of that knowledge in that series of the American Trick Bag, and so have you. So hopefully, because we're gonna need, once this Corona died down, what's gonna happen after sundress season. Where's the women's? Where's the women? So
It's in the mail, my brother.
It's in the mail. You know what I'm saying? Pandemic P is in the mail. Your stimulus P package is in the mail. So we need some instructions before, sundress season was postponed like a whole last year. So, they ready to bust all kinds of, but what I'm saying, they ain't thinking. So we need you to get back on the squad there. So any closing thoughts there?
It's been a pleasure as usual, Steve Dre. As a salute to the chat, gratitude for everyone who's joined, gratitude for having me. Look, we are in a critical nexus. We are in very tumultuous time. This is not the time to cause interdivisions amongst the family. It really is a time to lock arms with your brethren and sisters right here. See, unlike the foreign national immigrant, this is our homeland, so there is nowhere for us to run. And so we're going to have to, tighten down and make the shit work here, continuing the legacy that we laid long ago when this country was first founded, which is a history of resistance, a history of resilience, history of greatness, opposition, and opposing the environment. We have to continue on that legacy. I want to say salute to the nation and long live the black nobility. Eba Noblis.
Eba Noblis. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. Welcome and greetings and good evening, good morning, and good night. It is currently 1:05 in the afternoon on Wednesday, Japan Standard Time. To wherever you are in the world, thank you. No one is going to beg you to be great. No one will beg you to be great, but we will hold you accountable. Remember to tune in to Classic R&B Jams tomorrow nights, 8 o'clock. If I'm correct, Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, for On the Beat segment with our esteemed Supreme Elder, DJMuziq and Char Willie. And following that will also be Keep the Beat segment with our esteemed lady, JustaskChar and Classic Ruby. On Friday, it will be JustaskChar Advice Channel Open Panel where they discuss wonderful things. Also, there is Classic Ruby, the co-host, and the semi-co-host is our esteemed Lady Vonda. She's there. It's always great. Depending on the subject matter, I like to make my presence known. Just do some shock and awe, clutch them pearls and stuff like that. And also with Vonda, also with JustaskChar and Classic Ruby is article reactions, where they react to articles that they bring up on the news for the week and stuff like that. Very informative. Char always gives out information, especially about finances, healthcare, things that you need to know. She also talks about discount codes. That's wonderful also. And we have our esteemed Supreme Elder DJMuziq with Sunday Backyard Barbecue at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's a lot of things that's going, a lot of things that's happening. Of course, we do the 1/3 show at least once a week. Next week, we will be taking a break from the 1/3 show at its usual time. We try to get it done at around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. But we will be taking a break from that, and we will be doing an open panel of the session where we'll be just sitting up here talking and having a good time. Look out for that. I like to at least do the 1/3 show at least 3 weeks, and then towards the end of the month, doesn't just do the session and have a good time. Hope y'all had a good 3-day weekend. Short week. Hope you have a good short week. Stay vigilant, stay safe, especially with this inauguration. Black people, get in shape. Find a way to defend yourself. If you can't get a gun, get a bat, get something. Secure your homes, secure your resources, and secure your family members. Salute to the nation. Salute to the nobility, Ebon Noblesse, and have a good night.